Imagine a world plunged into darkness the moment the sun dips below the horizon. A world where city streets at night were treacherous, shadowy places, ruled by flickering gas lamps and the dim glow of oil lanterns. This was the reality for centuries. But in the late 19th century, a brilliant spark was about to ignite a revolution, forever changing our relationship with the night. This is the story of how we conquered the dark, one glowing bulb at a time. Our story begins not in a grand laboratory, but on the bustling streets of two iconic cities, separated by an ocean, but united by a vision. Paris, the city of light, and Cleveland, Ohio, a rising industrial powerhouse in America. The year is 1879, and the air is thick with the promise of invention. Let's travel first to Cleveland, to a place called Public Square. It's a chilly evening on April 29th. A crowd has gathered, their breath visible in the crisp air. They're buzzing with a mix of excitement and skepticism. They've come to witness a spectacle. A modern miracle promised by a local inventor named Charles F. Brush. Brush wasn't just a tinkerer. He was a brilliant electrical engineer and a savvy businessman. He had developed a new kind of lamp, an arc lamp. Unlike the soft, warm glow of Thomas Edison's incandescent bulb that would soon light up homes, Brush's arc lamp was an entirely different beast. It worked by creating a powerful electric arc between two carbon rods. The result? An intense, almost blindingly bright white light. It was powerful, almost harsh, but it was perfect for illuminating large open spaces. That night in Cleveland's Public Square, 12 of these arc lamps were mounted on tall poles. The crowd watched as, with the flip of a switch, a dynamo powered by a steam engine whirred to life. A low hum filled the air, and then light, a dazzling, powerful brilliance flooded the square, chasing away every shadow. People gasped. It was said to be as bright as day. The moonlight, once the main source of nocturnal light, was completely washed out. Newspapers described it as a flood of light, brilliant and beautiful. For the first time, a city square was fully illuminated by electricity. It was a triumph. Cleveland had just become the first city in America to have electric street lighting. This wasn't just about making the night brighter, it was about transforming society. Businesses could stay open later. People felt safer walking the streets after dark. The night was no longer something to be feared, but a new frontier to be explored and enjoyed. The success in Cleveland was immediate and undeniable. Within a few years, Brush's arc lamps would be lighting up cities across America, from New York to San Francisco. Now, let's cross the Atlantic to Paris. Paris had long held the nickname La Ville Lumière, the city of light. But this title originally came from its role as a center of enlightenment during the Age of Reason, and later for being one of the first European cities to adopt widespread gas street lighting in the 1820s. By 1879, Paris was a glittering metropolis, but its gas lamps, while revolutionary in their time, cast a gentle, almost romantic, but ultimately limited glow. The Parisians, always at the forefront of culture and technology, were also experimenting with the new power of electricity. A Russian inventor named Pavel Yablokov had developed his own version of the arc lamp, known as the Yablokov candle. It was simpler and more reliable than some of the earlier arc lamp designs. In 1878, for the Grand Paris Exposition, dozens of these Yablokov candles were installed along the magnificent Avenue de l'Opéra and the Place de l'Opéra. The effect was breathtaking. The grand boulevards, the ornate architecture, all of it was bathed in a brilliant, steady electric light. Parisians and visitors alike were mesmerized. It was a spectacle that solidified Paris's reputation as a modern marvel, where gaslight had created pools of soft yellow, electricity painted the city in bold, brilliant white. So, while Cleveland holds the title for the first permanent municipal street lighting system in the US in 1879, Paris had showcased the dazzling potential of electric avenues a year earlier at its Grand Exposition. Both events, happening around the same time, were pivotal. They demonstrated to the world that electricity wasn't just a scientific curiosity, it was a practical, powerful tool that could reshape urban life. But what was it like before this electric dawn? For most of human history, the night was governed by the moon and stars. Cities were dark. If you had to go out, you'd carry a lantern, or if you were wealthy, you might hire a link boy to walk ahead of you with a torch. The first attempts at organized street lighting used candles or oil lamps placed in windows by civic-minded residents. Then came gaslight in the early 19th century. This was a huge leap forward. A network of pipes delivered flammable gas to lamps on street corners. An army of lamplighters would make their rounds each evening using long poles to light each lamp one by one, and then return at dawn to extinguish them. Gaslight transformed cities, making them safer and extending social life into the evening. But it had its drawbacks. The light was still relatively dim, the lamps required constant maintenance, and the open flames were a fire hazard. The arrival of the electric arc lamp was like jumping from a candle to a spotlight. It was a quantum leap in brightness and power. These early systems weren't without their problems, of course. The carbon rods in the arc lamps burned down and had to be replaced daily. The light could be harsh and flicker, and the high-voltage systems could be dangerous. The competition between different inventors and systems was fierce. You had Charles Brush in Cleveland, Yablokov in Paris, and a host of others all vying to light up the world. This period was often called the War of the Currents, a battle not just between technologies, but between visions for the future. While arc lamps were perfect for streets and public squares, they were too bright and intense for indoor use. This is where Thomas Edison's work comes into the picture. His invention of a practical, long-lasting, incandescent light bulb in 1879, the very same year as the Cleveland demonstration, was the other half of the puzzle. Edison's bulb provided a softer, warmer light ideal for homes and businesses. So you had two parallel revolutions happening at once. arc lamps conquering the streets, and incandescent bulbs preparing to conquer the home. Together, they would electrify the world. The impact was profound. Crime rates in illuminated areas dropped. The nightlife as we know it, with late-night restaurants, theaters, and social gatherings, was born. Factories could run multiple shifts, accelerating the Industrial Revolution. The transition wasn't overnight. For decades, gas and electric light coexisted. You might see a street lit by modern arc lamps, while the side streets still relied on the gentle glow of gas. But the direction of progress was clear. The bright, steady, and increasingly affordable power of electricity was the future. Think about it. Every time you walk down a brightly lit street at night, every time you see a city skyline sparkling against the darkness, you are witnessing the legacy of those pioneering experiments in Cleveland and Paris. It all started with a few determined inventors, a crowd of curious onlookers, and a handful of brilliant lamps that dared to defy the darkness. They flipped a switch and not only illuminated a public square or a grand avenue, but they also lit the way for the modern world we live in today. The night would never be the same again. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story of light and innovation interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the history of technology. Let me know in the comments what other inventions you'd like to learn about. Stay curious and see you in the next video.